3. So-called healthy food. You probably knew we were going to get into this sooner or later. There are a lot of things hidden in food, and since the exposure of pink slime being used in McDonald's burgers, once people were onto that, those guys changed their tune and now serve 100% pure USDA-inspected beef with no fillers and no extenders. I'll take a Big Mac, but hold the sawdust and earthworms, would you? All jokes aside, there are some healthy foods out there with stuff hidden inside of them, and we're gonna expose some of them. In the last 100 years, the food industry has advanced by leaps and bounds. Today, more than 3/4 of supermarket shelves are stocked with packaged and processed foods. These boxed, canned, and frozen concoctions in most cases only require boiling or microwaving to become edible. But there are some things that are super bad for you that's still allowed in your food. Butylated hydroxytoluene, we'll just call it BHT for short, is a common additive used to prevent oxidation. It's also used in jet fuels, rubber petroleum products, transformer oil, and embalming fluid. But you can find it in some breakfast cereals as a preservative. High fructose corn syrup is almost in everything you touch. And even though it's not really hidden, it is worth mentioning that this product is a heart killer and is likely responsible for a lot of the obesity in the United States. The reactive carbonyl molecules cause tissue damage that may also lead to diabetes and heart disease. Oh, and that yellow number 5? Almost all colorants approved for use in food are derived from coal tar and may contain up to 10 ppm of lead and arsenic. Also, and not surprisingly, most coal tar colors could potentially cause cancer. Number 2, e-cig liquid. I can hear many of you saying, "Oh no, don't touch my e-cig, please," but you should probably know what's going on if you're a vapor. I am too. It's good to study up. While many people think that vaping is a safer alternative to cigarettes, it might actually turn out that it could be worse. We'll see. Yes, we know that a lot of companies bang out their marketing material saying that e-cigarettes only produce harmless water vapor, but that's just not true. Vaping is not risk-free, especially for kids and teens. Some people think electronic cigarettes, which don't contain tobacco, are a safer alternative to true cigarettes. But smoking e-cigarettes, or vaping, exposes people to toxic gases that can harm the lungs and cause other health problems. Now, a new study shows that the hotter an e-cig gets, and the more it's used, the more toxic compounds it gives off. My advice, keep the wattage as low as you can and change your coil often. That'll get rid of a lot of this. A team doing some studies on e-cigs and juices has just turned up a host of toxic chemicals in the vapors generated by electronic cigarettes. Some have never before been seen in vaping emissions. The key to vaping is the e-liquid that's drawn through an e-cigarette. Manufacturers dissolve flavorings and usually nicotine into this solvent. In most cases, this solvent is known as food grade, meaning it should be safe enough to eat. But it should be noted that that rating is meaningless if the solvent will be inhaled into the lungs, not ingested into the stomach where it can break down. As a vapor inhales, some of the flavored solvent will flow through the e-cigarette. As it passes over one or more hot metal coils, that liquid vaporizes into a gas. These flavored vapors can be a rich source of toxic chemicals. One of these toxic chemicals is nicotine. It's usually added to the starting liquid to stimulate a user's nervous system the same way that tobacco cigarettes will. Indeed, e-cigs are considered tobacco products by government agencies because their nicotine comes from tobacco plants. But the new study finds that the solvents make even more chemicals that are bad to breathe in. As the solvents encounter an e-cig's intensely hot coil, they can break down to form new toxic compounds. Those chemicals include formaldehyde and acetaldehyde, which is a colorless liquid that's in the cascade of breakdown products that develops when the body metabolizes alcohol. The colorless liquid also is used by manufacturers to make a range of products, including vinegar, perfume, and flavorings. According to the U.S. National Toxicology Program, this chemic's also reasonably anticipated to be a human carcinogen. The bottom line is this. While e-cig liquids are probably harmless in the bottle, the minute heat gets to it from an e-cig coil, that's where the problems begin. The jury's still out on whether or not e-cigs are better than regular cigarettes, but from the looks of it, vaping may stiffen the heart and blood vessels, and that's something that isn't worth the risk. Number 1. Tap water. You probably already know that tap water in many places is dangerous, and no one really knows what's in it depending on where you're from. But if we take a look at the city of Chicago, for example, the amount of lead in the water is incredibly high. But our drinking water should be clean and healthy, right? It seems like there might be a lot of things hiding in tap water that'll make you not want to drink it again. And this is very recent news, too. The toxic lead was found in tap water drawn from nearly 70% of 2,797 homes across Chicago within the past 2 years, according to an analysis of results made from the tested water. The Daily newspaper published a report on that analysis Thursday. Tap water in 3 of every 10 homes included in the analysis had lead concentrations above 5 parts per billion. Lead can leach from certain kinds of pipes as water travels from utilities to home faucets. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has set its limit for lead in tap water at 15 parts per billion. But for bottled water, according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, that limit is 5 parts per billion. Lead exposure can affect nearly every system in the body, and no safe blood lead level in children has ever been identified, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That's why the concentration